Long before his name meant anything, the boy was invisible. He lived on the edge of a small village where no one looked twice at him. He was not strong. He was not fast. He was not special. People passed him every day, carrying rice, laughing, arguing, living their loud lives. The boy watched quietly, but silence was not peace for him. Inside his head, thoughts never stopped. Fear spoke loudly. Doubt shouted even louder. Every mistake from the past replayed again and again. Every worry about the future stole his sleep. One evening, an old traveler arrived in the village. He wore torn clothes and carried no weapon. Yet something about him made people step aside. His eyes were calm, too calm. The boy noticed this immediately. The traveler sat under a tree and said only one thing to the villagers. Most people lose their lives without ever hearing their own mind. That night, the boy followed the traveler into the forest. The forest was deep and dark. No lights, no voices, only the sound of wind and leaves. The traveler stopped near a stone and sat down. "Sit," he said. The boy sat today. "Do nothing," the traveler said. Hours passed. The boy's legs hurt. His back burned. His thoughts screamed. He wanted to stand, to speak, to escape. But the traveler did not move. When the sun finally rose, the traveler stood and spoke again. "This is the first discipline," he said. "Silence." The boy did not understand. The traveler explained, slowly, with simple words. "Silence is not the absence of sound," he said. "It is the absence of reaction." The boy learned that day that most people are controlled by noise. Noise from others. Noise from their own thoughts. Anger, fear, ego, all loud, all demanding attention. A samurai, the traveler said, learns to hear without obeying. From that day on, the boy practiced silence. Every morning before sunrise, he sat alone. He did not chase thoughts. He did not fight them. He watched them pass, like clouds. At first, it was painful. His mind attacked him with old memories and future worries. But slowly, something changed. The thoughts grew weaker. The space between them grew longer. Silence gave him power, not over others, but over himself. Yet silence alone was not enough. One morning, the traveler watched the boy tie his sandals before practice. The knot was loose. The traveler untied it and said nothing. The next day, he untied it again. On the third day, the boy noticed. "Why do you untie it?" the boy asked. The traveler smiled. "You tie it differently every day," he said. "Your hands have no discipline." This was the second lesson, daily repetition. The traveler explained that strength is not built in moments of motivation. It is built in boring repetition. A samurai does not wait to feel ready. He trains even when he feels empty. The boy was given one task: tie his sandals the same way, every day, no matter what. At first, the task felt useless, childish, too simple. But days turned into weeks. The boy noticed something strange. His hands moved without thinking. His body learned before his mind did. Soon, other habits followed. He woke at the same time. He sat in silence at the same hour. He cleaned his space the same way. Repetition created order. Order created calm. Calm created focus. The village noticed a change before the boy did. People spoke, but he did not rush to answer. People insulted, but his face stayed still. Children mocked him, but he walked on. They thought he was weak. They were wrong. One afternoon, a group of older boys blocked his path. They laughed and pushed him. The old boy would have reacted. He would have shouted or frozen. This time, he breathed. Silence. He felt his feet on the ground, his breath steady, his hands calm. One boy raised a fist. The boy stepped aside, simple, clean, without fear. The fist hit nothing. The bully stopped laughing. The boy did not fight. He did not chase. He simply walked away. That moment taught him something important. Silence protects energy. Repetition prepares the body. Together, they create control. That night, the traveler spoke again. "Most people train only when life is easy," he said. "That is why they break when life becomes hard." The boy asked, "How long must I repeat these things?" The traveler answered, "Until they become you." The boy understood then. The samurai disciplines were not tricks. They were not secrets for winning fights. They were tools to build a mind that does not collapse under pressure. But the traveler warned him. Silence can make you slow if you do not know where to focus, he said. The boy felt a chill. There is another discipline, the traveler continued, one that sharpens silence into a weapon. The boy looked at the forest, now familiar, now calm. He realized something. This path would change him forever. There would be no return to comfort, no return to noise. And this was only the beginning. As the sun set, the traveler stood and walked deeper into the forest. Tomorrow, he said, without turning back, you will learn how to aim your silence. And for the first time, the boy felt ready. The boy woke before the sun. The forest was quiet, but his mind was not. Thoughts came fast, trying to pull him in many directions. He remembered the traveler's words from the night before. You will learn how to aim your silence. The boy walked deeper into the forest. The traveler was already there, standing near a stream. The water moved fast, but his eyes were still. Watch the water, the traveler said. The boy watched. Minutes passed. The traveler asked, What do you see? The boy answered, It moves quickly. The traveler shook his head. You are seeing everything. That is why you see nothing. Then the traveler pointed. Choose one leaf, he said. Only one. The boy chose a small brown leaf floating on the surface. He followed it with his eyes. At first, other sounds pulled his attention. Birds, wind, the cold water near his feet. But slowly, all of that faded. There was only the leaf. The traveler nodded. This is a third discipline, he said. Focus presence. He explained it in simple words. Most people live everywhere except where they are. Their body is here, but their mind is in yesterday or tomorrow. Because of this, they miss danger, chances, and truth. A samurai learns to place his full attention on one thing at a time. Not 10, not 5, 1. The boy trained all day. He focused on walking, on lifting a cup, on listening to a single sound. When his mind wandered, he brought it back again and again. It was harder than silence. Silence removed noise. Focus required effort. That evening, the traveler took the boy to the village market. The market was chaos. People shouted prices. Animals pushed through crowds. Children ran everywhere. The smells were strong. The noise was sharp. The boy felt overwhelmed. Do not escape, the traveler said. Stand. The boy stood still. Choose one thing, the traveler said. The boy focused on a merchant's hands counting coins. Suddenly, the noise softened. The market slowed. The boy noticed small details, shaking fingers, fast breathing, nervous eyes. The traveler spoke quietly. When you focus, you see what others hide. As they walked away, a man bumped into the boy and cursed at him. The boy did not react. Focus held him steady. But then something unexpected happened. A fight broke out behind them. 2 men screamed. One reached for a knife. The boy's heart raced. Fear rushed in. His focus broke. The traveler turned sharply. Breathe, he said. The boy tried, but his breath was fast and shallow. The traveler grabbed his shoulder. Your breath is your anchor, he said. If it breaks, you break. This was the 4th discipline, breath and rhythm. They returned to the forest. The traveler showed him how to breathe slowly, deep into the body, not forced, not weak, in through the nose, out through the mouth, long and steady. When danger comes, the traveler said, your breath chooses who you become. They trained at night. The boy ran until his legs burned. Then he was told to breathe slowly. He failed, again and again, but repetition worked. Slow breath calmed his heart. Calm heart cleared his mind. Clear mind restored focus. Days later, the test came. While walking alone near the village, the boy was surrounded by 3 older youths. They were angry. One held a stick. Look at us when we talk. One shouted. The boy felt fear rise. But this time, he remembered. He breathed. 1 breath. Then another. His body softened. His eyes sharpened. He focused on the leader's shoulders, on the stick's movement, on the distance between feet. The leader stepped forward. The boy moved first. Not fast, not slow. On the breath, he stepped aside. The stick hit the ground. Dust rose. The others froze. The boy did not attack. He looked at them, fully present. They stepped back. That moment taught him something powerful. Focus shows you the truth of the moment. Breath gives you control inside it. That night, the traveler spoke one warning. Focus without breath becomes tension, he said. Breath without focus becomes weakness. Together, he continued, they make you dangerous without being violent. The boy felt change growing inside him. Not excitement, not pride, clarity. But the traveler was not finished. Tomorrow, he said, you will face a choice where focus and breath are not enough. The boy looked into the dark forest. He sensed it. A moment was coming where he would have to decide and live with the result, and that would lead to the next discipline. The boy did not sleep that night. The traveler's words stayed in his mind. Tomorrow, you will face a choice. When morning came, the sky was gray. The air felt heavy, as if something unseen was moving closer. The boy followed the traveler along a narrow path that led away from the village. They walked in silence for a long time. At last, they reached a river. The water was fast and cold. Stones beneath the surface made the current uneven. A broken wooden bridge lay partly submerged, useless. The traveler stopped. "We will cross here," he said. The boy looked at the river. One mistake could mean injury or death. Before he could speak, a cry came from upstream. A man was shouting. They ran toward the sound and saw a stranger trapped on a rock in the middle of the river. The water was rising. His legs were shaking. Fear was written on his face. The traveler turned to the boy. "This is your moment," he said. "Choose." The boy's mind exploded with thoughts. If he rushed in, he might drown. If he waited, the man might fall. If he did nothing, he would live, but carry the weight forever. Silence was there. Focus was there. Breath was steady. But now, none of them gave the answer. The boy realized something painful. Training prepares you, but it cannot decide for you. This was the fifth discipline. Clear decision. The traveler spoke calmly. "A samurai does not wait for certainty," he said. "He chooses and accepts the cost." The boy closed his eyes for one breath. Then he stepped forward. He tied a rope around his waist and handed the other end to the traveler. "I will go," he said. That was a decision. But decision alone was not enough. The traveler raised his hand. "Wait!" The boy froze. "Decision tells you what," the traveler said. "Timing tells you when." This was the sixth discipline. Timing. They watched the river. The current surged, then softened. Rocks appeared, then disappeared. The traveler waited, patient as stone. The boy felt the urge to move. Fear pushed him. Pride whispered. But he remembered the discipline. Wait for the moment, not the emotion. Then the traveler nodded. "Now!" The boy moved. He stepped into the water at an angle, not straight. He used the current instead of fighting it. Each step was placed with care. His breath stayed slow. The water pushed him hard, but timing was on his side. He reached the man, tied the rope, held him steady. The traveler pulled. Together, they moved back, step by step. When they reached the shore, the man collapsed, crying. The boy fell to his knees. He was shaking, not from fear, but from release. The traveler placed a hand on his shoulder. "Remember this," he said. "Fast decisions without timing are reckless. Perfect timing without decision is useless." They walked away, leaving the man safe. Later that day, the traveler tested him again. They sparred with wooden sticks. The boy attacked first and lost. He waited too long and lost again. The traveler stopped him. "You are thinking," he said, "not choosing." He attacked suddenly. The boy reacted without planning. He moved on instinct. This time, he blocked. The traveler smiled. "When decision and timing meet," he said, "action becomes clean." As days passed, the boy learned to feel moments instead of forcing them. He learned when to speak and when silence was stronger, when to act and when waiting changed everything. But with every correct decision, something else grew. Wait! Each choice carried responsibility. Each action shaped the future. One evening, the boy asked, "Does it ever get easier?" The traveler looked into the fire. "No," he said, "but you get stronger." The boy understood then. Most people avoid decisions to avoid pain. Samurai choose, knowing pain may come. That night, the traveler stood to leave. "You have learned how to decide," he said, "and when to move. But strength creates burden," he continued. "If you cannot carry it, it will break you." The boy felt the truth of those words. Endurance would be next. As the fire faded, the traveler spoke one final line before disappearing into the dark. "Tomorrow," he said, "you will learn how to suffer without quitting." The boy woke before dawn again, but this morning felt heavier. He carried the weight of yesterday's choices in his chest. Every decision, every breath, every step he had taken seemed to pull at him like invisible chains. The traveler waited by the old stone path, his face calm, unreadable. "Today," the traveler said, "you will learn to walk when everything tries to stop you." The boy frowned. He didn't understand. The path seemed ordinary, just a forest trail, rocks, and trees. But the traveler led him into a storm. Rain pounded the ground. The wind ripped through branches. Mud pulled at his feet. The boy slipped more than once, his clothes soaked and heavy. Every muscle ached. "You are tired," the traveler said. "Good. Endurance is born in the moments you want to quit." The boy stumbled forward. His lungs burned. His hands bled from gripping branches. His legs screamed. But he remembered the old disciplines. Silence, focus, breath, decision, timing. He breathed slowly, stepped carefully, and kept moving. Hours passed. The storm didn't ease. The boy felt hunger gnaw at his stomach. Cold crept into his bones. Every instinct shouted, "Stop, turn back." The traveler walked beside him silently, not encouraging, not scolding, just walking. At night, they made a small fire. The boy's body trembled from exhaustion. His stomach ached. His mind whispered that he could give up, but the traveler spoke again. Endurance is not the absence of suffering. Endurance is a choice to continue even while suffering. The boy listened. He ate a small piece of bread, drank some water, and went to sleep. When he awoke, the storm was gone, but the path had changed. Rocks had shifted. Fallen branches blocked their way. The boy realized something new. The world would always be messy, difficult, unfair. Endurance was learning to move anyway. The traveler stopped. "This is not enough," he said. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small bundle of clothes, tools, and food. "You will carry only what you need," he said. "Everything else slows you down." The boy stared. His bag was empty. "Minimal living," the traveler explained. "A samurai's strength is wasted on possessions. Less to carry, more to master. Less to distract, more to focus." The boy packed only a small knife, a piece of bread, and a water flask. His feet, lighter, moved faster. His body ached less. His mind felt sharper. He realized something surprising. It was not just about survival. Minimal living cleared space in his mind. It cleared space for purpose. The traveler tested him again. He sent the boy up a steep hill with nothing but the essentials. Rocks cut his hands. Mud tried to pull him down. Branches lashed at his face. The boy wanted to scream, wanted to drop everything, wanted to give up, but endurance reminded him to keep walking. Minimal living reminded him that he carried only what mattered, step by step, breath by breath, focused on each movement. Hours later, he reached the top. The view was quiet and still. The forest stretched endlessly below. The boy felt the first true taste of freedom he had ever known. Most people collapse under weight. The traveler said from behind. They carry more than they need. They fear the storm. They stop before the hill ends. The boy looked down at the path he had climbed. Mud, rocks, rain, all conquered. "I understand," he said softly. The traveler nodded. Endurance and minimal living prepare you for everything else. But freedom carries risk. When you are light and strong, the world notices. Some will fear you. Some will challenge you. The boy shivered, not from cold, but from truth. He had learned how to survive suffering. He had learned how to carry only what mattered. But he also knew that the hardest challenges were still ahead, because now, strength had a cost, and the next discipline would test not the body, but the mind. The traveler's voice broke the silence of the hilltop. Tomorrow, he said, you will learn the weapon you cannot see, the weapon that wins without swinging a sword. The boy stared at the horizon, the wind tearing through his hair. His body ached, his clothes were torn, but something inside him had changed. Pain had not broken him. Burden had not slowed him. The path had only sharpened him. And he knew the next lesson would be the most dangerous and powerful of all. The boy had walked through fire, storm, and struggle. He had learned silence, repetition, focus, breath, decision, timing, endurance, and minimal living. But as he stood at the edge of the forest one morning, he felt something heavier than stones or rain, something invisible pressing on his chest. The traveler appeared quietly beside him, older than ever, eyes calm but sharp. Today, the traveler said, you will learn the last two disciplines, the ones that separate a true samurai from everyone else. The boy listened. He was tired, but not weak. His body remembered every step of the path. His mind remembered every lesson. The traveler spoke first of the ninth discipline. The mind is a real weapon, he said. He explained. A sword can kill a man. A mind can control a battlefield without spilling a drop of blood. A mind can see danger before it arrives, control fear before it takes root, and shape outcomes without force. The boy felt the truth in those words. That afternoon, they walked into the village. A dispute had begun between two merchants over a stolen coin. Voices shouted. Hands pointed. Tempers flared. The villagers watched, some ready to fight. The boy stepped forward. He closed his eyes, breathed, focused. He felt every movement, every intent, every small change in tension. Then he spoke. One calm sentence. The fighting stopped. Eyes turned. Hands lowered. Breath slowed. The boy had not moved a muscle violently. Yet the moment was controlled. The battle was ended. The traveler nodded. Strength of mind, he said, the most dangerous weapon, because it is invisible. You do not see it coming, yet it decides the outcome. But the traveler was not done. He turned the boy's gaze to a small child crying beside a broken cart. Power without heart, he said, is meaningless. Discipline without care is empty. Compassion is the 10th and final weapon. The boy remembered all the lessons. Silence, focus, breath, decision, timing, endurance, minimal living. He knelt, repaired the cart, comforted the child, and shared the small food he carried. The villagers watched, confused. The boy had the power to punish, to dominate, to fight. Instead, he healed, he protected. The traveler spoke quietly. True strength is not measured by what you can destroy. It is measured by what you can protect. Compassion focused like a blade saves more than violence ever will. The boy felt a strange peace settle over him. He realized the full path of the samurai disciplines. It was not a path of conquest, not of fame, not of fear. It was a path of purpose, presence, mastery of self, and the courage to use strength wisely. He folded the first piece of paper he had found at the edge of the village, the one that had contained the 10 disciplines. He added one new line at the bottom in his own hand. Use strength to create space for others. The traveler smiled. You have learned more than survival, he said. You have learned life. The boy looked at the horizon. The path behind him was full of hardship and lessons. The path ahead was unknown, but he walked forward without fear, because now he carried more than skills. He carried purpose. He carried presence. He carried the 10 disciplines that they never wanted anyone to learn. And with them, he was unstoppable.